So I've just saved £105 a month on my regular expenses. And in August, I tracked every single penny to see where the discretionary spending was going. Some of the results have surprised me, but they've identified areas that I can concentrate on going forward. Okay, let's have a look at the actual numbers then. You can see on the top left here my gold-plated civil service pension comes in at 23.94.15, and then in the middle column this is every single penny that I spent in August. All the spending was done using a debit card attached to my current account. I didn't use cash at all, and I didn't and don't use a credit card. So quickly moving on. Rent. I live in a shared ownership property and I have to pay rent every month of £325.51, and there's a service charge for the communal services of £90 a month. Council tax paid to the local authority of £112 a month. Energy. This has been pointed out to me in based on a previous video I did, that I'm paying a very low amount for energy. This is a combined amount for gas and electric, but that's what it is at the moment, £51 a month. For water, I'm paying £18 a month, very soon to go up to £25. My internet is £27, and my TV licence £15 a month. Now, I do watch live TV sometimes, and I do sometimes watch the BBC iPlayer catch-up service, so I do need a TV licence, and yeah, it's £15 a month. This next item is the first place where I've made a saving. I, for some reason, thought when I started doing YouTube I would need the Canva Pro version, but lots of people responded to me after my last budget video and said it was basically I was wasting money there, and I agree. So I've cancelled it, and that's £13 a month saved. I pay for Google storage and iCloud storage. They're small amounts. If I'm honest, I don't really understand what I'm paying for or why I need it, but I clearly thought I did at some stage, and I need to look a bit further into that. I might be able to cancel those. Lots of people responded to my last budget video about Sky and Netflix, and I reflected on this, whether I actually need Sky TV, and I concluded I don't, and it was sheer complacency that why I was continuing to pay this amount every month, but I've now cancelled it. Exactly when the last payment will be taken, I'm not sure, but in any event, that will amount to a monthly saving of £34 a month, or just over, but I've used rounded figures here. I put a line in here in the budget here for Prime, although no payment was taken in August, because I pay the amount annually. That expense will reappear at some time in the future. I have Prime both for the free delivery aspect from Amazon, but also because I do watch the films and the Prime TV from time to time. I pay £22 a month to my dentist. That's not an insurance. That's just a way of spreading the cost of 2 checkups, 2 visits to the hygienist, and 2 X-rays. So that comes to £22 a month. My mobile phone is normally £21.80 a month, and that's a SIM-only contract with O2. After I did the last video, lots of people commented that I was paying way over the top for mobile. The contract with O2 actually lasts for another year, so I'm tied in for another year. The reason it says 0 here on the spreadsheet is because they didn't actually take the payment in the month of August. The payment was taken on the 1st or 2nd of September. So I'm probably going to have 2 payments to make in September. But for accuracy, nothing was taken in August, so it says 0 here. DVLA is the driver and vehicle licensing authority, and they take £18.37 from me every month for a vehicle excise licence. In other words, a tax for having and driving a vehicle. Then we have OMAIS. This is the next area of saving. This is a lottery where you can win a house, usually a very expensive house, £3 or £4 million, but viewers pointed out to me that the chances of winning that are minuscule, and they convinced me that I was probably wasting £15 a month, so I've cancelled it. Likewise with the window cleaner. I had a window cleaner, he came every 6 weeks, and it was £15 every 6 weeks. That payment fell in August, hence the figure of £15 in the spreadsheet. But people pointed out to me that I was in relatively good health. I live on the ground floor, and effectively they were saying to me, why don't you get off your behind and clean your own windows? And I was convinced by that argument. So, and I probably think it's probably good for my health anyway to get the exercise. So I've cancelled the window cleaner. That was £15 every 6 weeks. That's roughly £10 a month, and that's a further saving. Then I give £10 to a charity I support. The next line is Civil Service Pensioners Alliance. They represent the interests of civil service pensioners, of which I am one. That's normally £3 a month, but again, there was no payment taken in the month of August. Probably I'll pay it twice in September. That's normally £3, but it says 0 for August. The next line is the Electoral Reform Society. That's a campaign group, and they campaign for a more proportional voting system in the UK. Is something I'm in favour of, and so I pay them £2 a month. Now here's the biggie, motor insurance. I was paying £62 a month for, and that was a combined payment for motor insurance and breakdown cover. Although in my previous video I didn't make that clear that it was a combined payment. But nonetheless, I got masses of responses from viewers telling me that I was paying way over the odds for car insurance. So that, when I looked into it, that was obviously correct. So I've changed that situation. I cancelled the combined policy, and I took out a car insurance policy for £301 annually, and I paid that in one go. And I took out breakdown cover for £43.93 annually, and I paid that up front in one go. Now you may be thinking, why does it say £476.23 when he's just said the car insurance was £301? And that's because I was penalised with a cancellation fee of £45 from my old insurance company. Plus I had to pay for the cover that I'd already received. So the total outlay for the new policy, the cancellation fee, and what I owed to for the cover I'd already received on the old policy was £476.23. But of course, there'll be no further insurance, motor insurance, or breakdown cover payments for another year. And when I did the arithmetic, that amounts to a monthly saving of £33 a month, which is a pretty big saving. Right, let's speed through the rest of the spending lines on the spreadsheet. I have contents insurance for my belongings inside my apartment. I pay £4.21 a month for that. I have an annual travel insurance policy because I do a lot of travelling in Europe mainly, of £49.13, and that just happened to fall for payment in August. So again, that payment won't arise again for another year. Although I have a car, I used public transport a couple of times in August to get into London. So I paid for the train and for the tube while I was there. That came to £16.55. Fuel for my car, I previously estimated £50 a month. Well, that was £65.35. groceries, which actually is groceries, household cleaning products and toiletries. I previously estimated £200 a month. That came in at £210.32. Eating out and visits to the coffee shop, I'd completely ignored these in my previous attempt at doing a budget, so that was clearly unsatisfactory and a defective attempt in a way, because I actually spent £113.82 on eating out and £64.30 on my daily habit of Americano coffee at Nero Coffee Shop. I went to the pub a couple of times with friends, spent £52.47. Parking, on the few occasions I needed to park the car in a car park where you have to pay, that came to £14.20. Now this is the one that shouldn't have taken me by surprise, but it did. I spent £72.82 on books and stationery. Now, quite frankly, I have more books than I know what to do with. I really need to read all the books that I've already bought. So I think I'm spending money unnecessarily there. It's almost like an addiction. On top of that, I've discovered that I have a very good local library who, for a fee of £1, can try and source a book that I'm looking for from any of the libraries in Hertfordshire, the county where I live. So for September, this is the expense that I am really hoping to bring down, and bring that down as close to zero as possible. For some reason, I had 13p pence in bank fees. I must have allowed my account to go overdrawn for a day or part of a day. But yeah, it's 13p. I'm not going to worry too much about that. And then something else I completely disregarded in my previous attempt at doing a budget video or doing a budget, and that was flights and accommodation. As I said, I like to travel in Europe quite a bit, and in August I incurred flights and accommodation costs of £386.78, and that was in connection with a trip to Spain. So, what does all that amount to? Total spending then was £2,342.80, which left me in the situation where I had £51.35 left over from my income, my sole source of income, which is my pension. So at least I didn't overspend. That's the main thing. And there are some big expenses occurring in August that are not going to occur again for another year. And then, as I said at the start, I've made savings by hacking away at the expenses of £105 a month. So overall, I'm pretty pleased with that. Now, how often do you look at your expenses? How often do you review them and do what I've done here? I'd love to hear from you in the comments. So that's the budget video for August. Those were the exact figures that I spent. If you found this video interesting or informative, please hit the like button and consider subscribing, and I'll see you in the next video.